Today we're going to look at some systems of equations that do not have opposite coefficients in the equations. Sometimes in a system of equations, we will not have opposite coefficients on either variable in the equations. That means we have to use multiplication to make those opposite coefficients. The steps that we talked about in our previous lesson are still in place, but when it comes to recognizing that first step, that we need opposite coefficients on either the x or the y variables, it's at this moment that we may need to multiply an equation by -1 to make this happen. We'll then continue in the same steps that we already know how to use. We'll combine the equations, we'll solve for the remaining variable, and then we'll use some substitution to solve for the second variable. So this is what it looks like. In this first example, you see that we have 6 and 5 for coefficients on x. We have +1 for the y coefficients in both. The easiest thing for us to do to get an opposite coefficient would be to take one of our equations and multiply it by -1. And this is what it looks like. So we're going to take this whole equation, multiply by -1. So it'll feel like the distributive property, but we're doing it to every term in the equation. So we're going to wind up with -6x. That y now becomes negative, so it's -1y. And then that is going to be equal to a negative times a negative is a positive for our 10. So now we can take that second equation, and we're just going to copy it down. So 5x plus y equals the -10. So notice we've only changed one equation. We've only multiplied 1 by -1. Now we can combine the terms. Here we have the opposite of x. Our y term is now eliminated. And 10 plus -10 is going to be 0. And dividing by -1, just so that we're not talking about the opposite of x, tells us that x is going to be equal to 0. So then we're going to take that 0. We're going to take one of the original equations. Doesn't matter which one. I'll go ahead and take the first one just so you can see what that looks like. We're going to take the +6x plus y equals the -10. We're going to substitute 0 for x. And so we'll get y equals -10. So the solution for our system is going to be 0, -10. To see that one more time, let's take a look at 5x plus y equals 50, and the opposite of x plus 6y equals 26. So again, the only place we have like coefficients is on the y variable, but they're not opposites, so let's multiply an equation by -1. And I'm going to take the second one. You can do the first if you wish. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that. So I get positive x minus 6y is equal to -26. I'll go ahead and copy my other equation down below, keeping my terms lined up, my like terms lined up, that is. That was 50. So now I have 6x. My y term is eliminated. And I have a +24. If I divide both sides by 6, I wind up with x equals 4. Little substitution now. I'll just do the first equation this time. I have 5x plus 6y equals 50. And we'll substitute 4 for the x. And we know that 5 times 4 is 20. We're going to subtract that 20 from both sides. And we have 6y equals 30. Notice we're using the same processes that we've used all along. And we get y equals 5. So our solution to the system is going to be 4, 5. All right, one more example just so we can see that pattern developing in our thinking. So I look at these two equations and I see that I have 4x on both equations. On the y term, I have a coefficient of negative 9 and 3, so I'm going to eliminate that x term first. And let's see, I'll multiply the first one by negative 1. So I'm going to have negative 4x plus 9y is going to be a positive 21 this time. I copy down the second equation. And I'll combine the equations. So that's going to leave me with 12y equals 12. Dividing by 12 on both sides, I get y equals 1. So some substitution. I'm going to use the second equation. So I'll do 4x plus 3y equals negative 9. Ooh, try that again. Substituting 1 for y, I get 4x plus 3 times 1 equals negative 9. So 4x plus 3 equals negative 9. Subtract our 3 from both sides, and we have 4x equals negative 12. Dividing by 4, we're going to see that we get x equals, watch your signs on this, negative 3. So the solution to this last system in the video is negative 3, remember the x term always comes first, 1.